Welcome to Season 21 of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast from 5minutebiographies.com, where each week we tell you interesting things about interesting people in about 5 minutes. If you enjoy the show and would like to support us, why not consider buying us a coffee? Head on over to 5minutebiographies.com/coffee to see how. This is episode 2. Stephen Hawking. Stephen William Hawking was one of the most recognisable scientists in the world, not just for his groundbreaking work in theoretical physics and cosmology, but for his remarkable ability to bring the mysteries of the universe into the homes and minds of ordinary people. His life was a story of exceptional intellect, scientific discovery, personal resilience, and an unyielding determination to understand the cosmos, despite living most of his adult life with a devastating disease. He was born on the 8th of January 1942 in Oxford, England, exactly 300 years to the day after the death of Galileo Galilei, a coincidence he enjoyed pointing out. His parents, Frank and Isabel Hawking, were both highly educated. His father was a medical researcher, while his mother had studied philosophy, politics, and economics at the University of Oxford. Though money was tight, the family valued education deeply. Hawking grew up in St Albans, attending St Albans School. He was curious, inventive, and fascinated by science and mathematics, but not considered an exceptional student by his teachers. At University College, Oxford, he read physics since mathematics was not offered, and he graduated with first-class honours in 1962. He then moved to Trinity Hall, Cambridge for postgraduate studies in cosmology, setting the course for his life's work. Shortly after starting at Cambridge in 1963, Hawking began to experience physical difficulties, including clumsiness, balance problems, and slurred speech. Tests confirmed a diagnosis of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or motor neurone disease. He was just 21 years old and given a prognosis of only 2 years to live. The news was devastating, but instead of withdrawing, Hawking resolved to focus on his research, determined to make a meaningful contribution to science while he still could. His early work focused on singularities, those points in space where gravity becomes infinite and the laws of physics break down, as predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity. Working with mathematician Roger Penrose, Hawking demonstrated that singularities could occur not only in black holes, but also at the very beginning of the universe, implying that the Big Bang itself was a kind of singularity. Then came one of his most famous insights. In the 1970s, he showed that black holes are not entirely black. By combining quantum mechanics and relativity, he predicted that black holes emit radiation, now known as Hawking radiation, and could eventually evaporate. This finding linked the laws of thermodynamics with black hole physics, sparking debates that continue to this day, particularly about whether information is lost when black holes evaporate. By this point, Hawking was already gaining an international reputation. In 1974, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society. In 1979, he was appointed Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, a position once held by Isaac Newton. His research often centred on the great challenge of uniting general relativity, which describes gravity on a cosmic scale, with quantum mechanics, which governs the subatomic world. But it wasn't just his scientific work that captured the public imagination. Hawking became a global ambassador for science, able to explain complex ideas in language that non-scientists could understand. His 1988 book, A Brief History of Time, tackled the origin and fate of the universe, the nature of time, and the possibilities of time travel. It became an international bestseller, remaining on the Sunday Times list for over 4 years. The success of the book made Hawking a household name. He appeared in documentaries, gave public lectures that filled large halls, and even made cameo appearances in The Simpsons and Star Trek, the next generation. His synthesized voice, produced by a speech-generating device after a tracheotomy left him unable to speak in 1985, became instantly recognizable. Living with motor neurone disease meant constant adjustments. Over the years, Hawking lost almost all voluntary muscle control. After the tracheotomy, he initially used a hand clicker to select words and letters on a computer screen. But when he could no longer use his hands, the system was adapted to respond to movements in his cheek. His wheelchair, communication devices, and home environment were all adapted to support his independence as far as possible. Despite these physical challenges, Hawking travelled extensively, continued his research, and stayed active in public life. His later books, including The Universe in a Nutshell and The Grand Design, brought cutting-edge ideas about quantum gravity, the multiverse, and the origins of the universe to a general audience. He was also a vocal commentator on pressing issues, including climate change, artificial intelligence, and the survival of humanity. Hawking argued that humans should look beyond Earth and work toward colonizing other planets to safeguard the species from potential disasters. His personal life was as complex as his professional one. In 1965, he married Jane Wilde, with whom he had 3 children. Jane cared for him through the early and middle years of his illness, while also pursuing her own academic interests. Their marriage ended in 1995, and Hawking later married Elaine Mason, one of his nurses, though that marriage also ended in divorce. In his later years, he remained close to his children and took great pride in his grandchildren. Hawking received countless awards, including the Copley Medal and the US Presidential Medal of Freedom. Yet he never received a Nobel Prize, in part because his most famous prediction, Hawking radiation, remains unproven through direct observation. His fame and influence extended far beyond academia, inspiring millions worldwide, especially those facing adversity. In 2015, his early life was portrayed in the biographical film The Theory of Everything, with Eddie Redmayne's performance as Hawking earning an Academy Award. The film highlighted not just his scientific achievements, but the personal and emotional struggles behind them. Stephen Hawking died peacefully at his home in Cambridge on the 14th of March 2018, which, coincidentally, is Albert Einstein's birthday. He was 76 years old, having lived more than half a century beyond the grim prognosis he received in his 20s. His legacy is profound. Scientifically, his work on black holes, singularities, and the unification of physics continues to have a profound influence on researchers. Culturally, his ability to communicate complex scientific concepts to the public has left a lasting mark on how we discuss the universe. And personally, his life showed that even the most severe physical limitations cannot diminish the power of human curiosity and determination. Hawking once offered advice to those seeking inspiration. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. For a man who spent his life looking beyond the limits of human knowledge, that sentiment could not have been more fitting. Thanks for listening to the 5-Minute Biographies podcast from 5minutebiographies.com. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, or if you would like to support us more directly, why not consider buying us a coffee? Head on over to 5minutebiographies.com/coffee to see how. Also, why not check out our other 5-minute podcasts, which you can find at 5minuteproductions.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.